Welcome, Jason, to Metallurgian Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you again, especially for me. So, talking about the Celestial Season, Mystery, this new album, Mystery 1, 2 years after the Secret Teachings, and more things related to the metal world. Starting with this, how have you been during this pandemic? Because you released the return of the Celestial Season in 2020 when this pandemic started, and now I think this 2022 is the ending of this pandemic. So how have you been during these times? How was the band, etc., etc.?
Yeah, well, um, obviously, with the amount of time which we had during the pandemic of working at home and obviously the lockdowns, you can see that we had a lot of time to work on the project, on the band. And I mean, our first goal was just to record the Secret Teachings as a tribute to the 25 years of Solar Lovers. And yeah, we had so much fun recording in that album that we decided just to record one more follow-up, the Mysterium album. But yeah, we managed to record 3 albums worth of material, and we thought, okay, well, why not make it a trilogy and release 3 albums? So yeah, in that sense, the pandemic has been creatively, it's been yeah, it's given us a lot of time. Obviously, all the other shit surrounding the pandemic is, yeah. I mean, that's maybe a topic for another discussion. I think everyone has their own opinions about this. I'm just happy it's over for the time being. I don't know what's up the sleeves of other things which can come around too, or but yeah, it's I've not been happy about how easily our freedoms can be taken away by whatever reason. If it's for me, I don't care if it's war or pandemic or anything, but and for me, my freedoms as an individual human being, my sovereign rights are the fundamentals of being alive, and yeah, and how easily governments can lock you up in your home, and if you don't do this, go to prison. That's quite scary, to be honest. I would imagine that more in countries where there's less democracy, but yeah, I wasn't surprised. I was surprised that this was so easily taken away, or anyway. That said, it's been an interesting period. It's very. I never imagined to be living in a period like this, where things we've seen in science fiction movies and whatever. I mean, the world is in a weird and wonderful place. I mean, we've just had this crazy pandemic where a lot of things have changed with this. We have the war going on now in Ukraine with Russia, and there's, I don't know. It's. I think these times we're living in are every now and then, every certain cycles of time, there are periods of times where a lot happens in a short period of time, and these are the moments where maybe in 100 or 200 years, where children at school will be looking in the history book saying, wow, look at all the shit that happened in those 5 years. There, the war, there, the pandemic. There's probably going to be a financial crisis or whatever. Very interesting, a lot of shit going on. So
Yes.
yeah. And I think it, as a creative person, it does feed your creativity, because there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of interesting developments, and I think all this, I don't know, this weird shift of energy, which obviously when you lock people down or you change society, it changes the energy between people. And for me as a creative person, it's been quite interesting, because I've become very productive. So good sides and bad side. Short story long, or long story short, whatever.
Okay. Okay, so see, yes, I saw the promotional info into this Mysterium one, and I saw that you will do a new trilogy with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So what is relating this miss? What are you relating this miss? This the new albums or the upcoming albums will be Mysterium 2, Mysterium 3, or perhaps they have another name to relate it with this, because the name Mysterium has a lot of interrogants there, a lot of questions, because
Yeah.
Mysterium is a great work to put,
Yeah.
especially for a doom metal band.
Exactly. There's a lot of there's layers to the reason why we chose this album title. I mean, it's obviously it's a follow up of the Secret Teachings, and the concept of the Secret Teachings is the album and or the lyrics and the concept of the album are inspired by several teachings and books from either esoteric or occultist writings. And with celestial, like with the music, when I speak about occult, you can have light occult and you can have dark occult. But occult means hidden knowledge. It's they're the mysteries, the ancient mysteries. So that's and it's something which interests me a lot. So that was the foundation of the concept, and I think it fits very well with doom metal, because especially with celestial, we go into the quest for translating emotion into our music, and it's it has this emotional, very heavy layer on it. And so with Mysterium, we are following this concept, but it's been a kind of search into who are Celestial Season, because obviously we've gone through a lot of changes in the past, from doom death to stoner and now back again, and people in the band have a lot of different inspirations, and we saw with Mysterium, where everyone was starting to compose and had the time to compose music, that I think we've managed to um, the let's say, so Mysterium, it's divided into three parts. So Mysterium 1 is the album of where Celestial Season is going, who we are now, and the music we're making now, obviously following up from Secret Teachings. And Mysterium 2 is going to be an album which is really focusing on our doom roots. So this album will be, really more leaning towards old Cathedral, old Anathema, our Celestial Season promo 94, Will You Wait for the Sun, and Above Us Your Ocean. So, this will be, the really long, heavy, melancholic songs. And then Mysterium 3 will be songs which are more kind of in the style of Solar Child, and with a bit of the rock, the stoner touch we had on Solar Lovers. And yeah, we had, let's see, it was something like 25 songs we composed, and they fitted really well into these three, triptych of this trilogy. And yeah, each album will have its kind of concept, which is linked to these the mysteries of Secret Teachings, and mystery of life, or mystery of whatever. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's interesting thing, because when we were talking in the past about the secret teachings, about the meaning of the colors of the cover arts, and
Yeah.
now I saw another detail, because when you remaster, when you re-release the first two albums, Forever Scarlet Passion, the Forever Scarlet Passion now, the new version, has a purple cover art, then Solar Lovers a blue one, then Secret Teaching is a cream one. So now you are into the red one, and with a dragon into there. So how was the exactly meaning of this sort of like these ideas with the code, with the
Yeah.
complete colors, not a lot of the designs in terms of just complete colors.
Yeah. Basically, you saw it well. Actually, the Forever Scarlet Passion, obviously scarlet is the color, which is an abstraction of red. So we have actually Forever Scarlet Passion, Solar Lovers, and the Secret Teachings are, in an abstract way, already the complementary, the primary colors. Secret Teachings represents the ochre yellow, Solar Lovers blue, and then the scarlet of Forever Scarlet Passion represents the red. So basically there we've already laid a foundation of, you know, our first trilogy. And the number 3 always, you know, with the Trinity is you know, an important number when it comes to numerology. So that's basically the first time where we use this symbolism. And now with Mysterium 3, we're continuing this because it's 3 again. There's a Trinity. And you guessed it, the first album is the red one, which is the Phoenix, of the rising Phoenix, of rising from the dead, rising from the ashes. So basically, it's just showing that, you know, this, you know, Secret Teachings wasn't really kind of the rebirth. It's a kind of tribute, but Mysterium 1 is actually the album, you know, now we're back, we're established. So it represents, you know, the rising Phoenix. And then the other 2 albums, well, you can guess there will be blue and yellow in their style of conceptual cover, which will then have our second Trinity and trilogy. So yeah, we're continuing with this this numerology with the project.
Mm. Interesting to know. So, other than time when I asked you in the first time that you when you returned the band, and you said you when you returned the band changed completely the sound, except you returned to the doom metal era with this kind of stuff. So, and perhaps for the future, for the Mysterious One, as you said, perhaps doom metal, this kind of stuff, you will bring something from the staff when you did it in the band.
How do you mean exactly?
So perhaps some riffs, some schemes from the Orange, from the Chrome, from the Lunchbox Dialogues, perhaps will influence for the next albums in some way, no? Because
Well,
you are with one of the members that still from that era
yeah,
too.
yeah. Tim and Ollie were, you know, continued after Orange. I mean, I still recorded on the Orange album, and then I stopped to continue other musical career. But Tim and Ollie continued, you know, until you know, all those albums, Lunchbox Dialogues and Chrome, etc. As far as I know, is we've, you know, with the lineup we have now, we've made the creative agreement that we are going to stick to all the aspects of the Doom Death. And obviously with Solar Lovers, there were already some songs where we were flirting a bit with groove and with, you know, with stoner, like with Solar Child. So we will experiment on Mysterium 3 with as far as we can push this kind of groove stoner mixed with doom. But the, let's call it the Celestial Season stoner era, I don't know, maybe the other guys will maybe in the future re-release these albums again as a trilogy, and maybe, you know, they will record something. I don't know. It's in any case, it's not of my interest. I'm not
Okay.
I'm sticking to the doom stuff. So yeah.
So with this pandemic, perhaps do you think about the do, or perhaps you and a live concert, a streaming concert, because Secret Stitches nobody knows about nobody knows live because the concerts are closed for this pandemic, and now this Mysterious One is perhaps the first. I think I will see the first gigs with this new album for the future, because the end, as I said in the first question, the pandemic is ending, but many people wants to see the Secret Teachings again in the live concerts. Perhaps you will do a streaming concert.
The thing is that, you know, we're you know, quite a bit older now, and we all have our work and our families, and, you know, some of us have kids and everything. It's very hard to come together, all of us, to, you know, rehearse. It's already taken us 2 months to find one date where we can go for a photo shoot, you know, because, you know, everyone has then, oh, the kids have to go here or work here or blah blah blah. So that's, you know, that's been hard. So, you know, we've been honest with ourselves. It would be great to perform, we've had, you know, already some offers, quite a lot, I think, even for a small tour or whatever. But yeah, you know, the thing is, we haven't performed live or rehearsed for a very long time. So if we do plan to perform, I mean, it's got to be good, you know. Just imagine that if we would play a support act for Paradise Lost, and these guys have been performing non-stop for the last 20 years, and we've been on a break for 25 years. I mean, we've got to nail it. Otherwise, we're going to look like a bunch of amateurs who are just picking up the guitars. You know, you need to get into a routine. I don't know. It's like being a football player. You know, it's like, okay, yeah, you don't, if you haven't played football for 10 years, and you can be Messi or Ronaldo, but if you haven't touched the ball for a long time, you've got to play some, you know, some practicing matches first and get the feel of the ball before you start playing, you know, the matches. So I think that's a bit of the thing. Time is the big problem, and obviously recording the music, seeing everyone, you know, we can do that mostly at home now. We all, you know, everyone has the software, and we have a system where, you know, we can record and share stuff and everything. That makes it easier because you can just go into your, you know, your little studio room and record some stuff. So yeah, you know, it's not the same when you're 25 or 30 and, you know, you have more time to do that stuff.
Mm. Okay, okay, okay. One question that I want to ask, because when I did with you the first interview, we talk about the secret teachings and this kind of stuff. Now 2 years passed from this great album, especially for me, and I think a lot of them. How was the reception, the comeback for with this secret teaching, and how was the anxieties, or how does the expectative of this for this mysterious one? Because when I hear it, I love it at the first time, but who knows? No, who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, the I think I think we didn't have one bad review. Well, maybe one was a bit critical about the production. I think the person who reviewed the album didn't really understand that we purposefully chose a production which was, you know, a bit 95 sounding, so a bit vintage. And I think this person expected us to be way more, you know, more polished, more modern sounding. Okay, that's fine. But overall, we've had incredibly good reviews, and it's been that's I think that motivated us as well to continue making music, because obviously, if everyone you know, really disliked the secret teachings, it would have been quite demotivating to carry on, obviously. But so yeah, it's been really good, and it was. I mean, it was a winning situation from all parts. So the first reason that we all came together again to record an album, and secondly that we managed to record an album and were able to find a record label that quickly and so close to us, and then having all these great reviews. I mean, you know, and the old fans. That was the most important. Is that, you know, the fans of the Doom era, that they were pleased, because, you know, they were the ones that we composed and wrote this album for. And now with Mysterium, let's hope that yeah, we can win some new fans. So that would be good. So all in all, yeah, it's been very good, you know. And we weren't expecting this, you know, big explosion. Oh wow, this no, I mean, we're a pretty good doom band, and yeah, I'm just happy the people who like this kind of music really enjoy it, so that's great.
Okay, after releasing the Secret Teachings, well, you released with Burning World Records around the world with for the vinyl, for the digipack version, and perhaps do you have some offers with the big labels, Nuclear Blast, Century Media, etc., to release this new Mystery one with them?
We didn't even look. We, you know, Jürgen, who used to be, or is still in some part of Roadburn. You know, he started Roadburn with Walter, and now does the Burning World and Roadburn Records. And you know, we've known Jürgen, I don't know, for like 25, 30 years now. You know, and so it's more important for us to have music released with someone which we know and who we trust, and who, he doesn't, he just, okay, guys, here, you do what you want, and I'll get it organized. And if we want a bit more or a bit less, that's all, that's good. And we don't have the ambition to be, part of a big label where, they're pushing for sales, or you have to go on tour or whatever. We're good. We can release it on a nice vinyl CD. The distribution is fine. We're all, we have no intention of becoming or wanting to be rock stars. So, it's all good. And the people who like our music, they'll find it, and I'm not too worried if some random Nuclear Blast listener will or will not find our music. I mean, people who listen to this kind of music usually go and search to see what's there. I mean, I always go and look for specific niches within doom, and so I look for things. And people who are sitting around waiting for music to reach them, then you're probably not ready for listening to it anyway. So
Mhm. Okay, okay. Now we're changing the subject completely, and we will focus on you on this time, because when I've received a newsletter about you, about all your projects, I saw that in the new album from Celestial Season and the first album from the Unsworn Light in the Black Void. This is a great band too. But I see a lot of projects that you have. So how do you find the time to do a lot of projects by yourself? Because you have electronic, you have doom metal, you have a lot of the kind other styles. So when you have the inspiration to do these songs goes to the for the perhaps goes to the Lovecraft Sextet, and these songs goes to the Ants with Lights in Black, and these songs goes to the Celestial Edition, because when a person with a lot of bands mostly has something very peculiar into your music. But when I listen all your projects, it's very different. You have a lot of minds into your brains.
yeah. Uh, I think it has to do with, firstly, with the years of experience of composing music. So I started, I think I released my first ever piece of music in 1989. So that's already, going well into 35, easily 35 years of making music. And I think I've come to a very lucky point where, um, I know exactly how to translate the concept and ideas I have in music into the music itself. So if I live in the forest, and I usually go and walk in the forest, and while I'm doing my walks, I have a specific project, and I compose that album in my head already, and the artwork, and which musicians of my friends, guest musicians I need for that project or that song. So I basically managed to compose 80% of the music in my head, and then it's a question of sitting down and just translating that into music. So, and um, it's I don't, now that when you discuss and saying, oh yeah, shit, I have like 5 or 6 projects going, I don't even see it that way. It's very natural, and each project has a different part of my identity. So obviously with Celestial, we're with 5 or 7 people if we have the 2 ladies. I know which part of my musical character goes towards, but it's also fun because you have to share your creativity with all these other people, and you feed off each other. Then Ollie sends me something and I send it back, and we blah blah blah, we play around. And then there's some projects where I work alone, and there I have a different part of my musical character where I focus into Arabic kind of music, where I've done my study into Arabic scales or whatever. So yeah, it's how can I explain it? It's meditative. It's very necessary part of my character to get rid of this creativity, and quite natural.
Okay, okay. So how was the experience to work in your new project? The answer lies in the Black Boy because it's very relative with the same music with the Celestial Season because it's Doom 2. So
Yeah.
how was the experience to work in these first albums? And we will see more albums from this project with I don't remember the name here, but I
Martina.
so with Martina. So
Yeah. So, well, Martina and myself, we will be getting married next month. So, yes, that
okay,
project,
congratulations,
thank you.
congratulations.
That project will be continuing. Yeah, it's, um, you know, with the Anselise in the Black Void, this is, Martina and my project where we really wanted to make a specific kind of doom metal, and especially focusing on her voice, because obviously she's the vocalist for Die Catafag and has a specific folk and a bit dark folk kind of voice. And when we got to know each other, we were like, okay, we let's work on something where it's very intense emotionally. Obviously, Celestial has that a bit as well, but Celestial has its template. Celestial has the input of 5 to 7 people, and the answer in the Black Void is I where I can put 100% of my the kind of emotion I want to put in doom metal. And um, I think there's always a different atmosphere when there's a female vocalist, and it brings, you can play with emotion in a different way. Obviously, Celestial with Stefan with his grunts, it becomes more masculine, and it has a different kind of emotion which you use there. But with the Anselise and the Black Void with Martina, it I think it can go deeper. It's more intense. It's more different kind of goosebumps. And obviously, this way we compose is not a way which is usable for Celestial, because we have our our Celestial sound and our Celestial thing. Um, and yet it doesn't clash, so that's good. It's not while I was composing one or the other songs for one or the other project where I'm like, oh, I should use this for Celestial, or I should use this for the Anselise in the Black Void. But so yeah, it's separate, and we're busy recording our second album now, which hopefully will be finished in September and should be out early next year. And yeah, it's starting to sound pretty good already.
Okay, okay. So, talking about your project, especially with the Doom style, what did you decide to play Doom since the beginning, and why you know that you play other styles like death metal, black metal, heavy metal, etc., etc. What are you finding? What did you find in this style that brings that that get into this since the beginning into the Doom metal?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think obviously most of the people kind of had their um, um, first meeting with Doom, obviously with Black Sabbath. But when I started listening to heavy metal, Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and AC/DC, obviously Black Sabbath wasn't considered Doom, and afterwards they're considered like the godfathers of Doom. But for me, the first time I experienced doom metal was the first album of Cathedral, Forest of Equilibrium, and let's see, how old was I then? I think maybe 18 or 19, something like this, or 17. I don't know. Anyway, and I don't know. It just completely blew me away in the sense that I didn't know that music could be that depressively melancholic, And obviously, when you're in the age of 17, 18, 19, you are kind of coming out of puberty, and you're fighting to understand your emotions. It's the hormones are still there, or whatever form. And it was I can remember when I played that album the first time. I bought it, obviously, like when I bought most of my metal albums, because of the album cover, the same like most people did with Iron Maiden. And it was very intriguing. And obviously, I knew Lee Dorian from Napalm Death, so that was, a plus, and a lot of interesting earache bands were coming out at that time. But yeah, then listening to Cathedral, I don't know. I never felt that happy for being sad. It's very strange. The sadness of the music, it was like if I was coming home. It was like, Jesus Christ, this music is so suicidal and funeral-like, but it's making me incredibly happy. What's wrong? That shouldn't be normal. And then I quickly, found Saint Vitus, and got more into the groove stuff with Trouble and Pentagram and The Obsessed. But for me, there is no band which comes close to the Forest of Equilibrium. There's intense stuff like Winter or Disembowelment, but Cathedral has, I don't know, they have this mysticism. There's this very strange, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it, archaic or sometimes middle-aged and fantasy theme in this album, which makes it incredibly unique for me. And I come back to this album like every 4 or 5 years. You have this period where you rediscover music you listen to, and then I can listen to this album intensely for like a month, and then it's like, okay, I have to leave it now. But yeah, that's what drew me to doom metal, and it's just this to soak in the emotions, with faster music, it's technique, or it's kind of working on adrenaline and kind of with a pace. But with doom metal, it makes you sit down and really think about stuff. And basically what a lot of classical music, the more melodramatic classical music does the same as well. Something like Pergolesi does the same, where you have to, or even Tchaikovsky, where the music makes you sit down and think, and that's what I really like about it.
We are very close to end this interview, Jason. And
Yeah.
what are the future plans that Celestial Season has for this Mysterium One? Perhaps as we talk during this interview, perhaps an European tour, perhaps some presentation in North America, or perhaps one day came here to Latin America.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know that we have a really great following in Latin America, and the support there has been always amazing. So I think if we would have the time and plan a tour, I think Latin America would be number one of our list to go there, because there's always been such an amazing support from there, and it would be lovely to travel there and do some key shows. For the rest, I don't know, if we do go and play, some festivals in Europe would be good, but yeah, I would definitely like to then invest the time to travel to Latin America and play there, because yeah, it's been very humbling from the support we've had. So yeah, that's one thing that's for sure. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
there.
Okay. Well, Jason, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one as I did. It's a pleasure to talk with you as usually. So this new album is a great one. I love it. I will do my pre-order perhaps from the Burner World, from the Burner Works in US, because from Europe it's too expensive.
Oh yeah,
The shipping
crazy.
prices is so crazy. 25 or 26 for one CD. It's amazing.
In some things I'm paying more for shipping costs than for the product itself. Crazy stuff.
Yes, crazy. Yes, so crazy. So crazy. So perhaps do you want to add what do you want to add to your Latin American fans and Metallerium readers?
I'd like to say muchas gracias por todo, y si nos vemos este año o el año que viene, me agradece mucho.